Good morning, y'all. I think today I'm just gonna basically talk about when we're dealing with working for people and your certifications, your experience, and things of that sort. Okay, so I'm gonna use for an example. Okay, so when I was working, I've worked for several daycares. I've also done daycare in where I lived at before. In different states or whatever. So I pretty much know this particular field. I also know customer service. I've managed, did management in a grocery store before I made 20 years old. Like I was managing while I was in high school. So it was kind of weird when you had people that was your same age that you had to manage. But you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? When you work your way from the bottom to the top, or you work your way from the bottom up to a higher position. Okay. I've also done, like clinical and phlebotomy and things of that sort, CNA, patient care tech training, all of this stuff. So I have a lot of certifications, like even in rest care and all of that. That were things that they made you do when you went to the workforce. Things that you didn't even want to do, but you went ahead and did it because that was one of the criterias. So you have all these certifications. You're more skilled in certain fields than others, but yet they'll still try to underpay you and pay them top dollar. So let me use for an example. I was working at this daycare. It was in a whole nother state or whatever, versus where I used to do daycare work. Okay, so this particular one, she paid me minimum wage. I have never made minimum wage in so long. That's just how much experience I have. So for you to to me, that was very wrong. So no matter how you look at it, and then it's like you proved several times that you basically know this field, and they know you know this field. Okay, so there was like this teacher that was there for a whole year. She was in the infant classroom. Okay, I realized that, when this particular owner, she got upset, she'll play switcheroo. So you're getting out of classrooms, she just started going on this rampage just because she feels some type of way. It don't matter what. So this particular girl, she got mad at, and she took her out the classroom. But remember, she took me out the classroom before because she couldn't get a certification for my daughter at a particular school for after daycare. So it was like after school care. Let me correct that. So my daughter had after school care certificate to go to whatever daycare or facility that did after school care. She was mad because she couldn't get it. She wanted to go to her daycare. So she took me out of classroom because of that. Like, she was mad. And first of all, when I came there, let's keep it real. When I came to this daycare, there was nothing in place. They had 13-year-olds working, 15-year-olds working. And there was I think I was trained one day, even though I pretend and act like I don't know nothing. So I'm going to let you train me. I'm going to let you see. I'm going to see what you know, if you know something more than me. So I'm like, okay, I was in there maybe one day of training. The next day I was in the whole class by myself. So I realized the first thing that they did not have in place was a document to let the parents know what your kid is doing throughout the day. So say your child had to have a BM or had to have a changed diaper. There was no document to document that information, or what your child ate, or what your child learned that day, or if you potty trained, what your child did, or if they went to the potty or things like that. So there was no form in place. So that's the first thing I asked, because I had already knew I was referred to this daycare by the workforce. So I knew she had problems, but I didn't know it was this bad. Okay. So if somebody's coming in to help you, no matter what position you hold, sometimes I feel like you need to humble yourself. Like, I'm really trying to help you, or was trying to help you, but you was so busy trying to find fault in other things, or because you couldn't get a certificate, or because you just felt some type of way because I might have knew a little bit more than you. So I made it known to her. I was like, well, there's no document in place for me to document each child's diaper changes, how many times I changed them per day, what they ate, what time they ate, when they took a nap, what time they woke up, things of that sort. So she went ahead and she printed up a document. Okay, so that's the progress. We going somewhere. But this is when I'm first coming in. But there was always children out of ratio. There was never enough teachers. So like I'm up in here eventually going from one day having help to being in this classroom, and I'm up in here by myself with sometimes 7 to 9 children. So there right there is a problem, because there's no liability. You're supposed to always have a second person in place to make sure if anything was to happen that you have a witness for one. For two, you need extra hands, especially if you have toddlers that are constantly moving and constantly getting into things, and you gotta have that type of staff to be able to handle them. Because these toddlers, this was like COVID time. So these some COVID babies. These a whole new breed right here. And so I'm used to saying girls, so don't worry about that. So yeah, so I'm like, this is a whole new breed of kids. So because this is a whole new breed of kids, these COVID babies was moving like I have never seen before. Okay, so she got mad. She took me out that classroom. No matter how much progression that I did in that class, they had no one. I was singing to them. I was also teaching some of them if they were able to catch on to a little Spanish, like numbers and things of that sort, like little words that I think they probably could grab between 1 and 2 and catch on to, because bilingual or a second language is also something that I used to take in school. So, I mean, a little bit of knowing some of that, if your child can catch up on to that type of thing, is no problem. Hey, we can do some numbers, we can do that in Spanish, we can sing some things, so things of that sort. I was really the only classroom that was really singing. So like I was singing my heart out, and I probably don't have the best tune, but them babies was loving it, baby. We were dancing, we were doing everything that we needed to do. But again, she got mad. She took me out that classroom. Okay, she had me floating, so I was floating, baby. So I'm asking different people if they need to go to the restroom and things of that sort, because you're not hurting me because I know this field. So if you want to take me out the classroom and make me float, I'm gonna go ahead and float on. But, even like some of the teachers had an issue with that. I'll be like, go to some teachers, be like, you got to go to the restroom or something like that. I'm good. Okay, you good then. Stay good. All right, so this same particular teacher, she ended up getting mad at her. She had been there about a year. But what I noticed when she took her out of the classroom, because she must have put her 2-week notice in because she was about to quit. And I don't think she stuck out the 2 weeks. She had enough, or whatever. They had bumped heads or whatever it was. This owner could get into it with you for any reason. So she went ahead and took her out and put me in there. The first thing I noticed that I went to the assistant to find out what these age ranges was for these children. And these age ranges was like 8 months. It's no way that a child 8 months, unless you have a developmental issue or you're a little bit delayed or behind, that you're not even scooting or crawling. So it led me to believe that they were just throwing these babies in the cribs and wasn't giving them tummy time. So I'm the type, that's the first thing I notice when I enter different environments. I'm paying attention to things to see what it is that's off. And I was like, I put a child on the ground, well, not the ground, the actual rug that you would do tummy time on. The child couldn't even scoot. And I'm like, I had to go ask the system, what is these babies' age ranges? Because I've had children that I've cared for that crawled as little 3 to 5 months. You give them tummy time. So she told me, and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So once I started implementing tummy time, you could see that they started scooting, they started crawling. By the time she got mad at me and fired me, these babies were standing. So the point I'm making about this, she paid me minimum wage. This teacher that had a year or more experience, or maybe more years than that, she paid her a lot more, because this particular teacher made a statement that she didn't get food stamps. So if you didn't get food stamps, I know that I worked at several different daycares when I worked in Texas. If you made at least $13 an hour, you didn't get food stamps. I think I might have got like between 10 and 15, if that. Sometimes 0 if you made that. So you're clearing about $2,000 a month. So you paid her at least $2,000 a month to not even do her job correctly, because those kids should have been able to crawl. Then you had another one, scoot or crawl by that age. Some stand at least 8 months. Some kids are standing. Okay, so to go ahead and wrap this video up, there was another teacher came behind me. She's abusing the kids, and she got paid more than me, at least $3 to $4 more. So it's based on who she liked or who kissed her butt. So I'm gonna tell you like this: it don't matter what certificates you got, degrees, diplomas. If a person don't like you or don't like the fact that you know a little bit more than them, they might, try to play you. So when I say it's always best to have backup on anything that you're doing, always have another field that you could go in or things of that sort, which is like a lot of things that I can do, but to actually see that with your own eyes and be like, well, dang, you do the work, they get the pay. Crazy, huh? Just because she might like them and don't like you, or she might want, to seem as if they're doing their job. In actuality, they wasn't. Because when you got to be able to view it and see it, you saw firsthand these kids were behind, and they were deliberately being behind. Because if you implemented that from the time they started, if you've been back there a year and you implemented that early, within 2 to 3 months, whatever time they started, they would have already been crawling. So I'm standing. So again, it's always best to have another hustle. It's always best to know some other things, even if you know more than the person that's supposed to be paying you. And the more I tried to help her and this of this sort, she always wanted to go against me. So, people like that, some people you just can't help. So, with the information that you do, if you're able to use it some other kind of way, I'm all for always starting your own business, however you got to do it. I've always been stopped and things of this sort. She's still stopping me 2 years later. I've never seen an ex-employer that really can't stand you, but don't know you, but you helped her. Like, it's crazy. She's really like psychotic. Like, I don't understand why she still is in this field. This field is not for everybody. If you don't have patience, you cannot deal with children. I'm just letting you know that. You have to have patience in all these fields, even dealing with people that are elderly. As far as the rest care, that training I had. If you don't want to change your diaper, that's not the field for you. Like, do something that you want to do and that you're going to do right. Because you can't be around here letting people sit in diapers and all that have diaper rashes and things of that sort. Like, cause I remember I went to lunch one day. I came back. The owner had the doggone kids in diapers that were soaked. But she busy calling me. I'm not the assistant, but remember, you don't pay me management pay. You wanted to underpay me. So therefore, you need to consult with your management on why I'm at lunch. Okay? Don't call me. Then you sitting here. I see that the child is unbuttoned. Okay, why is the child unbuttoned? If I wouldn't have noticed that, the child would have been on the floor. Things of this sort that you have to have, like, pay attention to everything, because you never know who's trying to sabotage you because they feel some type of way. Because if I wouldn't have paid attention that this thing was unsnapped, it would have been as if it fell on me. You get what I'm saying? You got to watch people all the time, and it's crazy. And all you're trying to do is just make decent money. Well, y'all comment below and tell me how you feel about when people try to underpay you or pay somebody more that has less experience than you. How you feel about that? And do you feel that, that's wrong? For one, that's a whole nother level of something else. But we ain't gonna talk about that. That gets into legal terms. But let me know what you would have did in a situation like that. I tried to handle it my best. I didn't really respond to the lady. I just did the job. I basically proved to her that I knew what I was doing when other teachers didn't. But instead, she promoted people that she liked versus people that knew the job. So, y'all have a great day. You let me know, comment below how you feel about bad management or bad ownership as far as running businesses. How you feel about that? Because customer service is really number one. How you treat people is also, it plays a factor. Knowing the position also plays a factor. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Y'all have a great day.